Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Connect Live. And Connect Live is a live and interactive Wednesday evening show that answers all your car questions. Na hii show imepata mafans wengi sana, and we are very grateful because Connect Live has grown, and most importantly, even the channel has grown. We are talking about having over 50,000 subscribers, and we want to thank you guys for giving us your no your that leap of hope. Getting us to 50 haijakuwa mchezo, and we are very grateful for that, and we are going to give you more palatable and insightful content. Na part of the content we will be bringing you soon include a podcast and also some reality shows, so brace yourself for some very good things happening. Na kama kawaida, you know how we normally start our show. Kama wacha nione, we have Frederick, jina ni ngumu, live from Shimalavandu, very ready for Wednesday. Shimalavandu je inamaanishanga kumaliza watu kwa hiyo lugha ya watu wa Western. Humphrey Toya pia naona ako locked from Voi. Karibu sana Humphrey Toya. Slen Stan anasema hello mzee, karibu, asante sana Slen. The King's Kid, niaje poa poa. Josh Homan is glad to be here as usual. We have Michael Dirango, Meru locked sana Wakabi. Michael Dirango, we are coming to Meru very soon. There is a story we really want to cover, and it's going to be an interesting one, especially for the Kenyan car market. We want to really get to talk about a few unique factors when it comes to Meru and its contribution in car consumption habits in Kenya. Tuendelee, we have Flux Tech Solutions. Hello Eric, I hope leo utaongelea story ya CRSP. Tutafika hapo. We have Vince Brian, VPCK, tuning in from Kirugoya, Kirinyaga, ready for new content. Asante sana Brian. Dante 16, please recommend us Dante bana, sahi ni masaa ya salamu. Tatarudi hapo. Benson Otonda, Haiwo Kabi, tuned in. Leo siongee Kiswahili, majirani wasitusikie. We are ready for the show. Yes, we are not going to use Kiswahili so that our neighbors may not understand. But anyway, they are not bad people. We still value them as our beloved neighbors. Harmless Level, tuned in. Hi Wakabi, can you briefly talk about Canet de Passage and how long you can stay in a transit country? We're going to do that. Harmless Level. Birithi is saying, hey CK, live from Mazeras. Say hi to people from Mazeras, especially those vijanas over there who sell mabuyu, achari, na what else do they sell? Mabuyu, achari. They also sell kashata and tende. Say hi to them, and a little bit of madafu. The only problem is their coconuts sometimes hazikuangi fiti. We have Jim Dukes. Hello Erico, locked in from Utawala. Identity Rights is in like Maureen. Producer Nyere Evans, thicker tuned. The new taxes inaelekea wapi? In car importation. Now, before we have other people coming in, I would like us to start the show with tuanze na news, the new things in the Kenyan car market. Well, let's talk about zero mileage vehicles and commercial vehicles. Well, in the first few months of 2025, this is how the standings look like. You know, most of the times, most people will be talking about how Manchester sijui meza inakaje, who is on top of the table, who is at the bottom of the table. Now, this is the Kenyan car market, and we are talking about brand new or zero mileage vehicles. So, Isuzu and Sifao lead Kenya's new vehicle sales. And things get more interesting because the most popular truck is the FRR90. That is according to the numbers that have been submitted. And now with Sifao, you know, encompasses dealerships for Toyota, Suzuki, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, and Sinotruk, plus a few others, BYD. So Sifao came in second, and they sold 343 Toyota Hiace vans and 114 Sinotruk. Howo Sinotruk, hizo malori za Mchina. And the interesting bit is that you see with the numbers of the FRR 90, we have not even factored in the numbers of the Isuzu D-Max, because we can we can confidently say that now the Isuzu D-Max is also selling more than ever. Yes. When we shift over to Sifao, Sifao is really selling the new Toyota Hiace, especially the zero mileage ones. And this is, I believe Sifao had a very intelligent, strategy to bring down the price of the Toyota Hiace. And this enticed the Matatu operators. One thing about the zero mileage Toyota Hiace, it's more reliable and it's even cheaper to run because it's a new vehicle as compared to these Mtumbas. And even the price difference is not that big if you are to buy the commuter, the one that serves as an 18-seater, the big one, the long wheelbase. Um, it was actually a very good strategy. It was very clever of them. And now they are selling like Njugu Karangas. So it was a very good strategy for Sifao to actually work on the price of the Toyota Hiace. It's what we would call opportunity meeting preparedness, but that was a very, very, very impressive strategy when it comes to the Toyota Hiace. When you talk about the Sino truck, we know that the Chinese trucks have become a game changer in the Kenyan commercial vehicle segment, and it's showing in the numbers. Now, most people are shifting, especially guys who operate commercial vehicles, they are shifting towards, and I want you to understand me clearly. When it comes to medium duty and light duty trucks, we see Isuzu taking over. When it comes to tractor heads, we are seeing the Chinese take over. When it comes to tippers, again, the Chinese are taking over. So the Kenyan car market is full of surprises. We never thought that there is a day whereby mainstream truck manufacturers would actually worry about Chinese trucks. Yeah, you must be dynamic. We must keep our minds open because you never know what will happen. And the interesting thing is that we are also seeing Chinese manufacturers bring in the medium duty trucks, class FRR 90. So we can only say that the future is full of surprises. Let's see how things turn out in the short term. Tuendelee. Um, Slenstrong anasema car giveaway at 50k subscribers. Hai, hapana. Hiyo sisi hatujai sema kitu kama hiyo. Hiyo ndio mlisikia kwingine. Tena gari mnapewa na nani? Hii hapana bwana. Gari mnafaa mtukue mnatupatia kazi ya sourcing. Anyway, Jeshoman sema good to be here. Michael Dinago saying Meru locked sana Wakabi. Okay, hapa tulikuwa tumeongea. We have who else? Redex Tarix, hey CK, locked in from Laikipia, karibu sana. David Kimani, live from Kawangware 46, tunakupata loud and clear. Thank you so much, David Kimani. Antis Mwans, mambo vipi mwalimu, tuko locked in kama kawa, asante sana Antis. Peter Nganga, locked in from the Republic of Saudi Arabia. Steven Mosioka, I'm watching from Machakos. Tiniachege asema Lokichar, Turkana County locked. What's your new view on the Suzuki Jimny Samurai for a project? We'll talk about that. Tiniachege. Jim Dukes is saying, hey Eric, kindly to Chanue, what's really going on with the new import duty rates posted today? Actually, they were not posted today. They were posted on Saturday. A month ago, there were rumors that KRA could be calculating import duty as from the invoice as from July 1st. Martin Yanumba, locked in from Naivasha. Ile story new taxes. Hesbon Kipiegon, live from Eldoret. And Hesbon, if you're in Eldoret, please do visit our new subsidiary Neon Mobility, Pale Pioneer, and we will get your car checked. So what to Eldoret, we got you covered. So pay us a visit. Pale Neon Mobility utapata jamaa anaitwa Ezekiel Juma, and he will do a thorough inspection on your car. Vincent Otiono, we're going to get back to that, but that's a bad idea. A BMW X1 2012 for first time car owner, that's a bad idea. Stanley Omondi, locked in from Kisumu with Japeng wa Nyamasari. Wasalimie sana. Hesban Kipiegon also watching from Eldoret. Eric Mburu locked in from Iraq. Sasa, thank you so much, Eric. And on this episode, I would like us to. There's this issue that people are bringing up, the CRSP issue, and today we will not talk about it, and here's the reason. There is so much going on, and we want to get clarity before we can actually dispense information about it. We have our reasons that for now we will not want to give half-baked information. So let's wait until next Wednesday when we can be able to give clear information on what is happening with the new CRSP rates. There is a lot of unclear information that we have not really gotten clarity about, and so please be patient. Next Wednesday, we are going to talk about those new CRSP rates. So just exercise a little bit of patience, but we don't worry, we got you covered. Sawa sawa. Let's proceed. Now, today's show was more about some cars that maybe you should avoid. We did a video and we talked about four cars. We talked about the Allion and Premio D4s. We talked about the Avensis T250. We talked about the Freelander 1, and we talked about the GDI. Now, these are cars that are cheap and they are very attractive, but we gave the obvious reasons why you should avoid some of these cars. So maybe we can also have your suggestions on the live chat. Which other cars do you think we should avoid or Kenyans should avoid? And tusipatiane blanket judgment. Let us give facts. Let us give reasons why they should be avoided, and also let us talk about the issue that they are likely to suffer from. Personally, I would ask you to avoid any Nissan with a ZD30 engine or a YD25 engine, especially locally used ones. These are cars that are going to give you problems, proper problems. The ZD30 was one of those engines that never did well, even in terms of the reliability cred. The YD25 was good on some cars, and on other vehicles terrible. So yes, it's good to avoid YD25s and ZD30s on locally used vehicles. So tuko pamoja. So give another suggestion and then we can say whether this one should be avoided or should not be avoided. Kinoti Mbeuri is saying inform ukifika Meru tukule mbuzi. Kinoti piga weka message pale WhatsApp. Our number is in the description. So I would like to take a few questions, but nataka leo tuzingatie mada. Let us at least stick to the topic. Which car, and I want you guys to write the stories here. Which car gave you a hard time? Which car gave you an unforgettable story? Tunaweza ichambua, and we can maybe ask or try and see if it is a car that should actually be avoided. So Senior Chege was asking about a view on the Suzuki Jimny Samurai or for a project, and I would say, yeah, that's a good project car. There's a gentleman by the name Ngigi Chengecha. I'm sure he's a Suzuki enthusiast and a Suzuki specialist. He should be a very good vehicle. So Jim Duke, sio maneno ya CRSP tumesema tutaongea baadaye. We'll talk about that candidly next Wednesday. We should have an episode for that so that people can get to understand more about this CRSP issue. Let's proceed. We have Antismon saying Nissan X-Trail T30 YD22 DDT is among the ones to be avoided or not. The diesel X-Trail with the YD22, you know, the YD22 is a smaller sibling to the YD25, but you will notice that there were some 0 mile, the ones sold locally that had been tropicalized. There are still a few on the road. Most of them you'll find them being driven by the guys from Nairobi County government, the DCI ones. Actually, siongei kuhusu DCI ile Directorate of Criminal Investigations. I ongea about direct injection common rail. Those T30s, if you look at the tailgate, the diesel ones, you'll notice that they have a badge kwa imeandikwa DCI, that one. Yes, they were good cars. Sometimes I think the issue with the YD22 was more of how can you tropicalize it. And these engines were quite sensitive, so again, get somebody who understands that engine very well. But I understand they had leaking issues. Leakage issues zilikuwa mingi, from leaking diesel to leaking engine oil. Benson Otonda, an old Audi A4 kwa mkulima mdogo, karibu jamaa fulani arudi ushago. Hey, no, 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 no. Some of these European cars, if it's not a Mercedes, avoid them. And even Mercedes Benz is not all of them, but at least a Mercedes Benz, we can say this is a European car that you can comfortably buy as locally used. But these Audis and VWs, most of the times you will find that they have seen better days. Then let me see. Mbirithi is asking, hello CK, what's your views on purchasing a locally used hybrid cars, especially the Honda cars? Well, before you buy it, perform a thorough pre-purchase inspection, which is a service that we offer, and then do a battery health check. That is also very, very, very important. Roy Moy is saying, hello, hi Eric. Is a Mazda Atenza 2014 2000cc petrol sedan good for a first-time car owner? Yes, it's a very good choice. Bill Odera is saying, CK, I'm confused between a Golf variant 1.4 and an Audi A3 1400cc turbocharged locally used. Which one can I go for? None. If you want to buy a VW or an Audi, please, heri uchange pesa vizuri, ununue gari foreign used. Tuko pamoja? Please understand that one. Otherwise, not unless you're playing with luck, you will need good luck to buy any of these ones. Kama ni mzuri. Sarah Skibe, as a first time car buyer, I failed to adhere to your advice and went for a Pajero with a 4M40 instead of buying the one you advised me, 4D56. 4M40 is rusty and noisy, 7 kilometers per liter. Forgive me, Eric. Cyrus, sasa si maneno iko namna hiyo sasa. Yes, okay, you can, I'm sure, well, it can be corrected. It can be corrected, but the reason why it's noisy is because of the valve clearances. Yeah, because those engines sometimes inasumbua watu sana. So Cyrus bana, let's try to work with it. Pole sana. Pole sana for that inconvenience. Okay, then we have Kevin Moshiri, Honda Airway versus Toyota Fielder. Kaka nichague gani? Kwa nini unalinganisha kifo na usingizi bana? Steven Barungi, nimewasili, mambo vipi? Can I cure the VVT rattle on cold start by changing oil viscosity? I have got it now on 2 cars. The first time was a Fielder 2ZR, and now it's on a 2NZ Vits. Now, Steven, what I would want to understand is how loud is that rattle? Because most of the time, most people think it's actually the variable valve timing, but sometimes the noise is towards the camshaft pulleys. I have seen that with 2 1NZ engines now. Ni ile ukigurumisha asubuhi, it makes that krrrr sound, then inazima. That is, it's likely not to be oil. Yeah. Vince Bryan is saying A180 or B180 for first time car na zingine huku body imechapa kuruka. Hizo usinunue locally used. Chris Kainda is saying, hello Eric Wakabi, what would you advise a Nissan Sunny B14 or a Toyota 110, 111 for first time car buyer? B14s are not bad, but if you got a 110 or 100, it would be, or even a 111, it would be a better car. Peter Nganga is saying, switching from Crown 2013 to SUV ya mkulima mdogo, good idea ama ni wait kufika bei ama kuna option ya trade in from Identity. Now, Identity cars, ebu saidia Peter Nganga hapa. He's asking if he can, well, I understand the reason why he might be shifting from a Crown to a crossover SUV is because of versatility. Crowns are very nice cars, they are very comfortable, but their ground clearance limits where they go. So it's a good idea. You can get a good crossover SUVs ziko mingi huku nje, and I'm sure Eric from Identity would be willing to help. Who else? We have James Courage. Hello, Eric. Why does Voxy have low resale value compared to the Noah? It's market perception. Market perception, because ideally it's the same vehicle. It's the same vehicle. Who else? Uh, Interesting comment I saw here. Please expound on the Kifo and Usingizi comparison, Mwalimu. You know the fielder definitely will reign supreme. Edwin Kings, hey Eric, looking according to you, which is the most reliable hybrid Kenya right now? If we talk about hybrid reliability, then we have to mention two vehicles. We have to mention Honda and we have to mention Toyota. However, the difference between Honda and Toyota hybrids is quite massive, and both have their pros and cons. Let's start with Toyota hybrids. Toyota hybrids run on nickel hydride batteries, and the advantage of nickel hydride batteries is that they can be repaired. You can change those battery modules. The other thing is that they are cheaper. That's another advantage. Well, the disadvantages are they do not deeply discharge. They also do not have an internal self-balancing mechanism. So if you want to balance one, lazima utoe ipeleke kwa nyambura ndio yakufanyia hiyo balancing, and also they are quite heavy. Now let's move on to the Honda counterparts. Now with the Honda, they mostly run on lithium-ion batteries. These are the Hondas from 2014 kuja chini. Lithium-ion batteries, and they have some obvious advantages. Lithium-ion batteries will last for a very long time. The other thing is that they have an internal balancing mechanism. Third thing is they are lighter. Now, these might need clarity, but more often than not, lithium-ion batteries cannot be repaired. Yes, but again, they will serve you for a very long time, which is also a good thing, by the way. So hiyo si ati tunaweza sema ni kitu mbaya. So it has to be a Toyota hybrid, depending again, Toyota or Honda. Now modern Hondas have one disadvantage, and that is the dual clutch transmission. The failure of the dual clutch transmission sometimes inafanya usikie gearboxes on the Honda vessels are failing, gearboxes on the Honda Fit hybrids are failing, and even on the Honda Grace and the Shuttle. That is because of the dual clutch transmission. So that's one major setback with Hondas. But again, that issue is not very prevalent, but it's there. Jim Dukes is saying, I once had a Nissan Caravan ZD30. As much as I sold it, thinking of it gives me goosebumps up to date. I told you, the ZD30 is one of those engines that can make you go nuts. Ask those who have an experience. Stephen Barungi is saying the rattle lasts just 1 second. Yes, I think it might be what I'm thinking it is. Harmless level. Stephen, you can do this. Text us on the number on the screen, the 0710 844 863, and we'll be able to offer some more detailed assistance. Who else? Let me see. Harmless level is it? Hey Eric, the BMW X5 E53 is a reliable car, and is it cheap to maintain? Bwana, BMW X5 and cheap to maintain? No, you cannot mention that. You cannot talk about those two things in one sentence, my friend. Kelly Adero, Mercedes Sprinter or Ford Transit for cargo vans. Na watu hutoa wapi Omnicargo? Omnicargo, by the way, is one of the sought after small vehicles. But if you're looking at the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or Ford Transit, they are not bad, but sometimes also more often than not is that they give people problems. This is something you look at. Even the ones that have been serving as matatus, they never go for so long. But they are very good vehicles. They are very good vans. They have a lot of space. They have impressive fuel economy, impressive power. But ikifika kwa parts, I don't think you want to have that vehicle and ikuwe ni gari you are frequently changing parts. Inaweza kusumbua kidogo. So let's just stick to what we have as a common vehicle. There's there's a notion that common vehicles are for people who do not want to explore. But who not, there's a notion that these common vehicles are for people who do not want to explore. But I would like to tell you something. You see, if you go into the meat business and you, especially this will apply to commercial vehicles, if you go and start the meat business and you realize that most people in that business are using a particular pickup to carry the meat, you should ask yourself a lot of questions. Again, if you go to the matatu business and you find out that most operators are choosing the Toyota Hiace, na wewe unataka kuleta gari ingine, kibakuli kingine, unafaa ujiulize maswali mingi sana. You see, if you see, we do not have many people who are as shrewd as commercial vehicle operators, because these are people who like to account everything to the last penny. So if you see them choosing a certain vehicle to perform a certain operation or to serve a certain purpose, trust me, they have done their math. Usijifanye ati wewe ni wewe mwerevu uende kuintroduce gari ingine huko kwa biashara fulani. Like for instance, there's a reason why Miraa vehicles, the dominant brand is the Toyota Hilux. Tuko pamoja? There's a reason why gari za kubeba gazeti, the dominant brand is the Isuzu D-Max. There's a reason why in the matatu business, the dominant brands for shuttles is the Toyota Hiace, and for the town service is the Isuzu NQR. There are reasons why this happens. These people don't just go and buy a car overnight. No. They have tried and tested these cars over time. So they have the experience. So usiende upate watu wameleta NQR alafu wewe uende hapo useme unataka kuleta ile gari inaitwa JMC. These people, there is nothing they have not seen. And if you want to get genuine advice, get it from people who operate commercial vehicles. They will give you the reasons as to why they choose a certain brand. You see, the problem with watu wa maika ni, you see people buying Fielders and ama CX5, you say, no, I want to be unique. You go buy a Renault ama a Peugeot. Alafu ivunje kitu ikae kwa garage miezi 5. Kama kuna mtu nilijua mahali alinunua gari inaitwa Ford Mondeo Titanium. Na hiyo gari ilimlaza garage miezi like 5 months looking for some very small components. So always try to get the answer to the question as to why people are buying or using a particular brand of vehicle, a particular model for a specific job. There is a reason why most long-haul operators are taking up Chinese units and running away from the Actros, the MAN, Scania. There is a reason. So it's always good to stay open-minded. We have Paul Kanyeru watching from Mombasa, Mbombolulu. Karibu sana, Paul. Paul Masharia saying, avoid used Mitsubishi Colt. It has an electrical wiring issues. I agree. And actually, even Mitsubishi Lancers, they also have wiring issues. Kagwe Kanini is saying, Honda Stepwagon Spada 1500cc 8-seater zimefikiwa kwa second kwa locally used. Sijaona mingi. Vincent Otieno is saying a Nissan Altima should be avoided. I wonder why. Tell us, Vincent. Why should we avoid a Nissan Altima? Okay. Hello, Eric with Asike. What's your thoughts on the post 2008 Toyota East? It was not very much accepted into the market, but it was a nice car. Edwin Mayo is saying Mumias is locked. Chelimo Nora, how can I eliminate a soft limiter on my Nissan Tida HR15 4-speed automatic? It won't rev over 3,000 RPM. Now, Chelimo, the soft limiter is embedded into the vehicle's engine management unit or engine control unit, or what is called the computer. So unless you just delete that file from the ECU, there is no other way. But something about the soft limiter is that it only doesn't allow the vehicle to rev over 3000 rpm when it's in parking or when it's in neutral. But when you're driving, it will rev above 3000 rpm. If it does not rev above 3000 rpm and the vehicle is in drive, then you have a problem, because that is the vehicle going into limp mode. Alex Kaka, VP Eric, what's your take on switching from Nissan Note Nismo 2016 to 17 today? Nissan e-Power ama Nissan is to avoid and Honda Civic Type R, what's your take? Type R kupata bro ni ngumu, hiyo nitakwambia. Type R kupata ni ngumu, na uchunge usiuziwa Type R, imebandikwa hiyo logo ya Type R. Now e-Powers are nice, they are not bad cars. Edwin Kings, thanks for your answer, bro. Now, where do we place e-Power reliability? E-Power technology is actually very, very, very good, but if you own an e-Power, avoid what is called detailed wash. It will save you a lot of money. Onesmus Mosioki is saying, what do you think about the 2008 Toyota Allion 2T60? It's a good car. Flaxtech Solutions. Hi, Eric. Being kindly... Advise me between 2019 2500cc petrol and 2200cc diesel for a first-time car owner. I'm considering importing one with your team. So Flaxtech, for a first-time car, petrol always wins because it might not have as much torque as the diesel, but one thing about that vehicle is that it will give you peace of mind. And I always say that peace of mind is an underrated luxury when it comes to owning a motor vehicle. So I will advise you to go towards the 2500cc petrol, and you're welcome to import with us. Karibu sana, and we'll be happy to serve you. We have Mesha Kiprop. Is Subaru Forester SKE reliable for a first-time car owner? The SKE is actually very reliable. One thing about the SKE, most people think that it's a hybrid. No, the SKE is what is called a mild hybrid. So the hybrid function only kicks in when the vehicle is coasting or in traffic. So it's not a full hybrid like what you'd maybe say of a Toyota Harrier hybrid or a Honda Vezel hybrid or a CRV hybrid. No, the SKE, otherwise known as the E-Boxer, is a mild hybrid. Are we together? I think now that's well understood. Cute orange cheetah. Hey Eric with a C. We bought a Subaru Impreza. Man, it has disturbed us with front hub noises in the front. What could be the issue? Well, how did you buy it with the noise, or did the noise come after? Well, the solution is very easy. Buy new hubs for the vehicle. Itanyamaza. Buy new hubs. I don't know if you have bought the new hubs. Tell me, what have you done? But mostly buy new hubs. The other thing is, you might, and I have seen it happening on with most people. What tires are you running on? Answer that in the chat box and I'll be able to answer it. But mostly change hubs. And then if you're running on noisy all-terrain or mud terrain tires or snow tires, then that might also make you think that hubs inapiga kelele. But first of all, if you're running on highway tires and you're having that grinding noise kwa mguu, then change the entire hub. It will save you that disturbance. 2015, 2016 third gen for reliability and capability. The Escudo is, you cannot go wrong without Escudo. Machuka Aizo ndio naingia huku hodi. Machuka ameenda wapi? Machuka, nimemwona yeye. Karibu sana Machuka. Steven KW, hey Eric, I want to buy my first car and I've settled for the new Toyota Sienta to serve as a family car and carry light loads. What do you think? Have I made the right decision? Yes, you have made the right decision. Asante sana. John Kango Singh, Salimika Eric, tuned in from Ruiru. Karibu sana Junior. Mavo, should I consider clean 2008 Mazda Demio? Yes, you should consider. But those Demios are going for like between 550 to 650 depending on how clean the vehicle is. And sometimes even, yes, from 550 to 650 thereabout. Hesbon Nyamete locked in as usual from Mogadishu. Karibu sana Bwana Hesbon. Timothy Wala, hello Eric. Which SUV car would you recommend for a first-time car owner, budget-friendly, locally used? Can you recommend that can use for off-roading once in a while and daily use it? Timothy Wala, it will be easier to recommend one if you would give me maybe a tentative budget of this vehicle. Uh-huh. So Kamanu Gishuki says something about the 3S FE engine in the Toyota RAV4 1999 model. I've been on it for a year and it's such an amazing experience. The 3S was an amazing engine. Uh, and there was even the performance variant of it, the 3S GTE. But the 3S should not be confused with the 3SZ, because the 3SZ, actually no, not 3SZ, kuna hii engine inakuwa kwa kataone saka this kala ka headache, and it's also on the rush. That was not a, so the 3S FE, the 3S GTE, they were good engines. They were quite reliable. And yeah, on the RAV4, it was a beautiful engine. There were also some Carinas and Caldinas that had that engine, and yeah, it is an engine that is underrated. But and you know, Toyota has so many engines that are actually good, but not many people know about them. Uh, Alton Creative House is saying, "Hey Eric, Mazda Bongo, a good car. Looking for one for some light commercial or work marketing." Yes, Mazda Bongos are nice, but ununue ya petrol. Yeah, diesel inasumbuanga sana sana tabo. Omar Copy, hello Eric, is the 2014 Volkswagen Golf TSI a good option for a first-time car buyer? Well, Omar, if it's clean, it's a good car, but there's something that most people don't agree with, but I say it anyway. If you're looking for a first-time car, as a first-time car owner, please avoid buying locally used European vehicles as a first-time car. Yes, many might not agree with that, but I'm going to tell you for free, avoid a locally used European car as a first-time car, with exception of older Mercedes Benzes. Most of them you would actually, like the W202s, the W124s, but the 124s are actually those that sizzle as IFD, the ones, the EFI ones, especially with the M111, those were good cars. But any other locally used European vehicle for a first-time car owner, it might spell disaster. This is a vehicle that can make you hate cars for the rest of your life. Let's see. There is Mberithi is saying, CK, kuna bro alikuwa na VW Golf station wagon, ilikuwa kama hayuko garage, basi amekwama mahali. The last time kuiona ilikuwa imekokotwa, haijai kurudi. I think Golf pia zinaweza sumbua. Yes, I told you. Now, at least guys can see for themselves. So, if you are a first-time car owner, avoid locally used European vehicles. Hiyo nitazidi kusema hapa hata kwa hii show, and I'm not afraid of saying it. Dominic Kemboi ameingia live from Eldama Ravine. Say hi to wasee wa Eldama Ravine. Acha nione, kuna maswali hapa okay. Maureen Gishoki is asking, hey Wakabi, between a locally used Honda Fit Shuttle hybrid and an Axio hybrid for first-time car owner, which one would you recommend? Maureen, I would ask you to go towards the Axio, because these locally used Honda hybrids, the Honda Shuttle hybrids, enda kwa Axio, at least Axio ikiharibu battery tunaweza tengeneza at a very at an affordable price that is not absurd. But I would urge you, even as you buy the Axio hybrid, please try and do a battery test and a thorough pre-purchase inspection. Anthony Mwanyika, hey Eric, how about a Vanguard, locally used, or do I just get Fielder WXB? Well, Fielder WXBs, wow, they are nice. I know people say Fielders are boring, but WXBs are quite nice. They may not be fast, but at least they are reliable. The only thing you have to worry about is theft. Now let's talk about the Vanguard. The Vanguard was a good vehicle. In fact, the Vanguard and the RAV4, those twins were simply awesome vehicles. But there is a truth that nobody likes to admit about Vanguards. Actually, the Vanguard, the RAV4, the Harrier, the 2AZ engine, and its other sibling, the 1AZ engine. Hiyo gari ikifika 150,000 kilometers, most of them burn oil. And you can tell that by looking at most Vanguards, and you will see that they produce some blue smoke or exhaust. But the good thing is that that can be solved by simply doing an engine overhaul. Yeah, so Vanguards were loved. They are people's favorite cars. And you'll notice that most of these Vanguards, Harriers, and RAV4s of that age, if you, for locally used ones, ukifungua bonnet, chances are either the top cover seal is leaking, or utapata imewekwa ka silicone, meaning mtu alichange au ka gasket na akaweka silicone. So there are those conspicuous issues or ubiquitous issues with those RAV4s, Harriers, Vanguards with the 1AZ or the 2AZ. But again, it was not something that would make the vehicle stall. Kikwete Alphonse, hey Eric, please advise, should I go for the Subaru XV or the Mazda CX-3 for a first-time car owner from Kwale? Now, if you're in Kwale, I would advise you to go for the XV. The CX-3 is a bit, it's soft. It's a good car. I am not saying it's a bad car, but the CX-3, again, the spacing in the CX-3, it's quite cramped up, doesn't have much space at the back, but the XV is quite spacious. It's one, again, it's another underrated vehicle, but the prices of the Subaru XV keep on going higher with each passing day. Let's see, Peter Mkusu, what's your opinion about the Subaru Forester SJ5 for a first-time car owner? It's a good car. Simon Kamau, hey Wakabi, got an RD1 with interior vibration and idle and a leaking steering rack. What's the solution to the issue? Hey, RD1 Honda, hiyo acha ikuje garage tuone what we'll do. Hesbon Brown, hello Eric, from North Carolina, Nikondani. Advice between a Honda Step Wagon versus a Delica D5. Budget around 2.2 million to be used once in a while. Well, for 2 million, you can only buy locally used ones because the Delica is upwards of 2.5 million currently. The Step Wagon again is around 2.5 million. So ukiongeza 500,000 tunaweza chapa hiyo story. Jilabo Production, my first car was a Toyota Axio. It was good but very slow, especially when climbing hills. Tuambiane ukweli, tuongee tu ukweli tutoke. You know, there are those cars that we perceive to be very reliable na hatutakangi kuongea about some truths about them. You know, yes, like to be honest, Axios are slow. Tuambiane ukweli. Axios are slow. They are good cars but they are slow. We know that. Hiyo hatuwezi feature. Most cars, there are cars with some truths that we do not want to say. Kama sasa Mark 2 I'm heavily invested kwa Mark 2. Not to say Mark 2 zinakunywa. We move on. We accept and move on, and we learn how to deal with it. So let's avoid denial. For instance, we can say Mitsubishi 4M41 engines are unreliable. But people will tend to try and pretend, oh, Mitsubishi Pajero, oh, it has a hybrid chassis. It forms a balance between a unibody and a body on frame. They will talk a lot, but deep down, hata mwenye anaongea anajua. Ikifika ni kwa valve clearance, 4M41 inasumbua. Anyway, Nick Bala is saying, hello Eric, do you have reservations about the Toyota Nadia with that 3S engine? Kuna ingine nimemezea. Nadia utatoa wapi body parts? Juu hizo bwana hata huwezi omba Nadia Mukami. See, the problem I have with the Nadia is I don't know where people get body parts for the Toyota Nadia. And you see, with the Nadia right now, I'm sure you cannot get even headlights. You cannot get comprehensive insurance. So the engine is good, but the body parts, hapo itaitana. Machuka Izo, I'm thinking of buying the 90s RAV4 as a first-time car. What's your insight? I want it as a project car. Yeah, they were nice cars, but the only problem I had with them was the rear multi-link suspension. You see, this RAV4, actually RAV4 means recreational activity vehicle. So it's a vehicle for people who are going off-road. But for some strange reason, Toyota engineers just had a multi-link suspension setup, and the links looked like, actually that was a problem I've noted with the RAV4 and the Ford Escape. They are too close to the ground, such that if you drive in a deeply rutted road, you're going to be stuck there. Like, what's the purpose? We have let me see, okay. These questions are coming in hot, and I can see for the first time we are almost getting to 300 people watching live, and asante sana for keeping the support coming. Let me see. Let me go back hapa juu kidogo so that we can be able to touch on these questions. I see they are coming in hot. Okay. Cyrus Kive is asking, since I have a drunkard 440 engine, what can I do? Make it travel around 10 kilometers per liter. Ningenea ni Santerano 2 with the TD27 engine, I think singekuwa na hii homa. Ukweli, yeah, that is true. But you see, once you choose to marry someone, you cannot sit back and say, I wish ningeoa flani flani, singekuwa kwa hii ngori. But no, that's water under the bridge. So with this 4M40, get a good mechanic, and for that 4M40 you can be assisted by Mwaura or Suleiman. If the fuel economy is bad, the first culprit is the injectors. So we move from valve clearances, we head to the injectors, have them serviced, have them recalibrated, or even have them replaced, and then from there we can start seeing the improvements. You see, Rome was not built in a day. Since this was a locally used vehicle, we must start by understanding the problem, and we can only solve that problem in phases. Are we together? So do not worry. Cyrus Kibe just dropped us a message on WhatsApp. I'm willing to take up that project to try and make that vehicle ikunywe vizuri. Napenda challenges kama hizo because I know we will touch on a few things. As you is saying, recommend for family car Nissan Serena iko vipi? It's been on my mind. Nissan Serena kama si Serena e-Power, wachana nayo kabisa. In fact, those are the thoughts that you should not even have even in your worst nightmare. Roy Moshiri, hey Eric, changes in KRA in July, will they reduce or increase imports? So what we said is that we do not want to talk about those changes right now. Give us up to next Wednesday because there is a lot of hearsay, there is a lot of unclear information. Give us up to until next Wednesday, whereby we can even have a panel and discuss the new CRSP and also get to understand it better. So Roy Moshi, this Subaru Impreza we bought in Yuasa Bond hapa Kampala. We noted that it has a front noise and replaced the front complete hub. Again, the car has developed the noise. He replaced the same hub, tire ni highway. Okay. I think that sounds... So text me on WhatsApp, that WhatsApp number. We are going to be in communication with you tomorrow, and we are going to see how we are going to sort that problem. Chandu Kenya is saying, hey Eric, first time who want to join Uber with a budget of 500 to 600, which car should I consider? Putting in mind that Uber 10 years and below only. Now, these are tricky budget, especially for a new car. Chandu, I think this one might get a little bit technical in terms of because there are so many cars that are within that band. So again, I'll also recommend you to drop a message on WhatsApp, and we are going to pick up that conversation tomorrow morning. Sawa. David Mogame is saying, hey Eric, say something about Subaru Outback 2017 CVT issues. One thing I always say about Subaru is that Subaru makes some of the most reliable CVTs in the world. They use some of the best material, but that does not mean that slippage does not occur. So religiously maintain your Subaru CVT gearbox and it's going to serve you perfectly. Mhm. Francis Gakumo is saying, "Hey Eric, this is Francis. How much is a locally used Allion 2012 supposed to cost?" Well, that is heavily dependent on how clean the vehicle is. Right side cars saying, "Identity cars wako wengi Facebook. Huyu wetu tutampata aje?" Eric Identity Cars, ebu weka namba yako hapo, weka namba yako hapo ndio hao watu wakupate. Watu waone wakujue na wakupate, they get to have your number so that they get to communicate to you directly. 254 extra. Hey Eric, I'm buying my third car, but I want a German now. Kindly advise me between Audi or the Mercedes-Benz W205. The reason why I would advise you to get an Audi is that these W205s are overpriced. You can get a really nice Audi for the price of a W25. Joe Mickelson, hello Wakabi, is a W124 worthy car for a first-time car owner and an enthusiast? Found one. Is it worthy to get one as a project car and a daily driver? Yes, it's a great car, but avoid the FD engines. Get one with an M111 engine and it will serve you very, very well. W124s are very easy to build. And just to remind you, we are filming from Grande Motor Imports, and we have this strategic partnership with Grande Motor Imports to import cars for you guys in a safe, convenient, and a hassle-free way. And through these partnerships, we have managed to strike other partnerships with some global manufacturers, some global suppliers, and through that, we are able to provide to you. If you import any Toyota hybrid, we are able to give you a 16-month warranty on the hybrid battery pack. Sawa sawa. Also, quality is our forte. Tunataka kuleta gari grade 4.5 and above, a car that you're going to enjoy driving and a car that is going to serve you for a long time and at the same time guarantee you value for your money. Sawa sawa. Tuendelee na story. Joshua Omido, sahi Mercedes E200 2016 shingapi? I'm almost dropping my Camry that I have enjoyed a great delay. E200 2016, I would have to confirm that. We have Victor is, hey Eric, would a Nissan Tida hatchback 2012 be good for first time car owner? Yes, it's surprisingly good. James Amira, hello Eric. You're indeed a blessing to us since you always advise us on the various cars, and if anyone takes your advice, then they sawa sawa. And thank you so much, James. I really appreciate those humble words. We have Raboranks Radio, BMW E46 321 2006. Any advice? Be patient. Be patient. It's a nice car for an enthusiast, but I hope you're not buying it as a rookie, especially with BMW matters, because it will teach you a great deal of BMW lessons. We have Joseph Gadu talk about the NV200 in terms of reliability and maintenance. We have talked about the NV200 numerous times, and it's a great vehicle. It's one of those good replacements or good alternatives for when it comes to those light commercial vehicles. Instead of buying a Probox, I would recommend you buy an NV200. Benson Maina with 1.3, which kind of car would you recommend? Benson, would you want a sedan, a crossover SUV, a pickup? Magari ni mingi. Be a little bit more specific. Moses Bosire, hey Eric, Mazda Axela 2016 1500 cc petrol, slow like Toyota Axio? No, the Axela is not that slow because it's driven through a 6-speed automatic gearbox. The Axio is driven through a CVT transmission. Redex Tarix is saying, hey CK, is a Peugeot 508 2016 a good for first-time car owner? No. Redex Tarix, no. Online Academy, Mazda Axela first gen hatchback, manual transmission. Your thoughts? Bay, yeah, I used to use. Those are brilliant cars. They are amazing cars. But Bay we would have to scout around because there are not very many. Sakwa 254, hey Eric, for first time car owner, what's your take on the Nissan Tida hatchback Axis Outtech 2010? That's an amazing vehicle. Lydia Ogoti, the old model Toyota Fielder, say for first time car owner, which is the market price? Which old model Fielder? I think it's better if we get to have like the year of manufacture, so that we are able, because we have like several generations of the Toyota Fielder. It might be difficult to narrow down to one. So Lydia, let's be a bit specific on the year of manufacture. Who else? Hi Eric, would you source and vet cars for people? Kankov 750 best deal, Toyota Fielder advice. What we do, we offer pre-purchase inspection for this vehicle. So ukipata gari tu tuite, namba iko hapo kwa screen, and we'll be able to inspect that vehicle for you. Lewis Martin found a 2006 E200 compressor at a really good price. Would you advise me to buy one for first time car owner? Hey, uh, ooh, 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 ooh. I would say yes and no at the same time, because we would need to see the condition of the vehicle first. Philip Ingutia, hello Eric, please share tips on Nissan Advan versus Wing Road. Which one is more sturdy as a daily driver? You see, now Nissan Advan and the Nissan Wing Road are more or less the same car. The Nissan Advan is the Pro Box version in the Nissan family. Sawa, so it's basic, it's bare bone, nothing luxury about it. But the Wing Road now is the Fielder version. Sawa sawa. So depending on your needs, because even the Advan hata kiti ya nyuma ni bench. So the Wing Road is a more comfortable vehicle. Magdalene Makumi, what's your take on Nissan Sylphy? The Sylphy, it's heavily dependent on which year, but it's not my favorite car, although you can live with one. Yes. So you can live with, okay, but now you have to tell us the year ndio tujue, sababu kama ni ile G11, G11s were terrible cars. But the subsequent generations were not that bad if well taken care of. Benson Maina, okay. Hi Eric, Nissan B15 sold at 220k. That's a very good deal. Chris Kinda, hello there, Eric Okabi. Would you recommend a Toyota A100 manual or an automatic gearbox for the first time car buyer? That's dependent on your preferences. Kama unajua kuendesha manual na humain manual, enda manual. Kama unataka auto, enda auto. But one thing about those early automatic transmissions is that you will get better fuel economy with a manual. Yes, those automatics were not as intelligent as the automatics we have now. Felix Osewe, hey Eric, ile ka importation age limit petition imefika wapi? Hiyo maneno yote tutaongea Wednesday. Sawa sawa. So I think masaa imeenda sana. It's already 9 p.m. and thank you so much for being part of this live session. Next Wednesday we are going to talk about the new CRSP. How by that time we will have gathered enough information about it, tell you the way forward, what to expect in terms of the prices of the vehicles. Hiyo maneno we wanted to at least get good information on it and see what the final verdict will be, and then we can have a discussion about it. Tuko pamoja? Sawa sawa. I've been your host Eric Wakabi, Eric with a CK, and kesho, by the way, kesho tuko na review ya gari inaitwa Nissan Serena e-Power, Thursday from 8 p.m. So Auto Connect, we have a bonus video for you tomorrow. If you have not watched Monday's video about 4 cars you should avoid if your budget is 500,000 Kenya shillings, you can watch that video. Search hapo kwa channel, utaiona hapo, na pia continue subscribing so that we can grow this channel together. Thank you so much for being part of this live session. Over and out. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. and also next Wednesday as we talk about the new taxes.